All right. How is everybody doing today? Alabama just kicking off, getting this game started. We'll be with you for the entirety of this game. I got a couple other games that I got going on right now, but Alabama straight out the gate running that ball. So that is where we are at. Appreciate everybody that's joining the stream. This is our first year of doing this, so if you can hit that like and subscribe button, that would dramatically help the platform and the YouTube channel out a ton. Appreciate everybody. Also, if you're watching on Twitter, you can come on over to YouTube, join in the conversation. We can see how this is going to go today. It's looking like it's going to be maybe a little bit of a rainy day down there in Tallahassee, the quote unquote armpit of Florida. It does look like they've got the Doak filled up, which is not a shock because Alabama is in town. It is the hostess with the mostest. That's kind of where that is at, but Alabama comes out and looks like they're moving it really well. So we'll have to see if it's any better than what the what it's looking like for the performance that Texas put on. That is something to be desired, something to be said. I think that just how that goes, but Ty Simpson in Alabama are moving the ball down the field. Third down coming up. It's kind of where that's at. Some notes from that. I'm sure that's going to be the most talked about game going forward. So I'm sure if you want to chime in and jump into that, that'll help steer the conversation. But the main game we have on the big screen is obviously Alabama, Florida State. We have Oregon and whoever they're playing. We have Indiana on there. Indiana might be on upset alert. We have Georgia on the screen. We have Penn State on the bunny ears. So that's where that's at. But if you guys want to hit that like and subscribe button, help us grow this thing. More than happy to interact with you guys. This is our first year live streaming games. We're going to do the Clemson LSU tonight. That is something that we have going. And then we're going to do the late night stream, Nico's debut. I'm sure there's going to be some people wanting to stay up and watch that. But Ty Simpson, 3rd and 7, drops back. Not going to get it. Going to be about a yard short. Is DeBoer going to go for it? He's over there looking at it. So that is something to be said there. I guess we'll see if they come out in punt formation. That is the big one. So, yeah. Ty Simpson short, going for it. Hand it off. He got it. That's a first down. That is a first down. So there's that. Some other things that are happening in the college football world. Penn State looks like they're about to punch it in. Louisville is up 28-0. That is kind of a shock there, but that's where we're at. Just trying to keep up with everything. Tennessee is all over Syracuse as well. Another handoff. It was about a 7-8 yard run again. So there's that. Oregon is about to take the field and slaughter whoever they're playing in week 1. They're showing Jam Miller right now out. So there's that. Also, we do kind of take a break at halftime. I believe Jeffrey Wright is going to join the program as well this afternoon. Um, so there's that. Held up there. Another third down. Florida State is pounding on their helmets. They are excited. They get a shot with Alabama. So we'll see Indiana in the end zone. Penn State, Nicholas Singleton punches it in. We're about to see what Florida State's got on third down for Alabama. Ty Simpson. Another handoff. Wow. Alabama Young up the middle gets it. Puddles, the Oregon Duck, is also rolling out. They riding the motorcycle out. So there is that. So I believe Ryan Grubb getting it dialed up. So that is pretty much what we got going in a nutshell for the most part. Nothing too crazy yet. Hopefully there's some more offense in this game than there was in the Ohio State Texas game. Oh, out the gate 88. Another big run. Keeping it on the ground and keeping the chains turning. So there is that. So that's where we're at the moment. But if you're watching on the old Twitter, come on over, hit the link, and come on over to YouTube and help us grow this thing. So that is kind of where we're at. Jeffrey will probably be joining shortly. A lot of pushing and shoving going on here. A lot of pushing and shoving. So DeBoer comes out with a polo on. I'm sure there's going to be some folks real happy about that. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Simpson back. Oh, could have been a dangerous one there. But we'll have the Clemson LSU on tonight. Just off the fingertips. Yeah, Ty Simpson calling the signals up. Who called timeout? So I believe somebody called timeout. All right, getting those logistics worked out. Trying to do a color coordination out there in Autzen. That's that. Indiana is up by 10 on Old Dominion. So we got that. Georgia's up by 7, but yeah, we're TV timeout. That is the new wave of college football. That's pretty much pretty much what you're dealing with. The advertisers got to make that money. The rev share is not. It is a real thing. So just checking the old Twitterverse here real quick, and they'll be back shortly. But nothing out of the ordinary really going on. Georgia Marshall. I think it's pretty much name your score there. Should be the same thing at Penn State. Just seeing all the fallout from the Ohio State-Texas game. Very interesting on how that really played out, to be honest. All the cash comes from somewhere. That's right, Dave. It all comes from somewhere. Dave, did you put a bet on this game? I'm just curious. Uh-oh. I think Indiana roughed the punter. They got a packed house at Happy Valley. Just checking on some things here. That is where we're at. I don't bet. Nah, you're a pretty smart guy. $45.20. Thank you, Fran Brown, for that one. Syracuse laid a turd in the punch bowl. All right, back at it. 3rd and 6. Here we go. Alabama. Ty Simpson on the run. Going to run for it. I think he got it. Or are they going to mark him short? Oh, Penn State defensive interception. Georgia, they're inside the red zone. Louisville has scored again. What is this? I don't know what that is. All right, thanks. I appreciate it. Stop football 100. Stop football 100. Okay. Whatever you are doing there. Huh. Shiloh Sanders got fined $5,000. That's a nice thing, NFL. Sarkeesian says, for Arch, the expectations were out of control. On the outside, I'd say let's finish the book before we judge him. That's just one chapter. Well, Sark, that's a pretty big chapter, I would say. That is a big chapter, to be honest. Ty Simpson, touchdown, Alabama. Alabama on the board. A lot of... I'm pretty sure the Doak... Did Shiloh make a team? No, he got cut by the Bucks. That was a good play call right there. Dave, you got the Alabama game on? Gunner Stockton, touchdown, Georgia. But he kicked it above the net. So there's that. We got the Alabama swag on today. Got the big A. So, but yeah. Huh. So Dave, I'll run down the list of games that I got on right now. I have on the bunny ears, I have, well, I guess it wouldn't be bunny ears, or what do you, analog TV. Analog TV's got Penn State on it. The quad box on TV2 has Oregon at Montana, or Montana State at Oregon, Marshall at Georgia, Old Dominion at Indiana, Eastern Kentucky at Louisville, and then TV1 has the um, Alabama game on it. So there's that. Just checking out all the news coming out. Whenever you're a one man band, when you're a one man band show, it's one of those deals. Um, they're doing the whole banner unveiling. Syracuse, they got dog walked. It's kind of what it is. But yeah, appreciate everybody that has jumped in the stream. Today, Jeffrey Wright is probably going to be joining shortly at some point. Enjoy Jeffrey's tutelage on this journey that we are on. And seeing how the betting's going. We got breaking news on FS1. Yeah, well, if you live under a rock, you wouldn't know that Ohio State beat Texas today. So I don't know why that's breaking news. UK struggling with Toledo. Everyone talking about how bad the SEC, like the Big Ten the other day. Well, okay. This is my issue. When you have the Alabama games, that commercial, okay, if we talk about this like sensible people, if you look back at the last 25 years, the SEC's won 14 and a half natties. The Big Ten has only had two teams win natties in 25 years. The SEC, I get it. Alabama's won 6 and all that stuff like that, but you've had teams from the ACC even win natties, and it's only been Florida State and Clemson. So it's about the same thing, but I'm not going to get hung up and say the SEC is the worst conference ever. The worst conference out there is probably the Big 12. But, a lot of the people in the major media markets don't really talk about the Big 12. And I'm really shocked that SMU is going to be one of those programs in, I think, 5 or 6 years that's going to be a juggernaut when they get it figured out. That's just my opinion. Some people may disagree, but SMU's got dollars. They got dollar bills, y'all. That's all I'm saying. So that's where I'm at on that. I don't think any. Now, do I think the middle of the pack of the SEC is better than the middle of the pack of the Big Ten? If you want to judge it by bowl games, I guess whatever. But when it comes down to the SEC versus, take Notre Dame for example. If you're Notre Dame and you have to join a conference to make the college football playoff, you going to join the Big Ten and play at noon a bunch, or are you going to join the SEC and have more control over your schedule? Florida State on offense, Castellanos, coming up on third down here. So that's what it is. Uh, Castellanos incomplete. Fourth down. Punt coming. Hold on. What is Dave saying? I don't care about they were going nuts when the Big Ten teams. My thing is I'm not really the thing. Here's my deal with the Big Ten. The one thing I don't like is they've added teams that are not Big Ten. The biggest thing is growing up, and Dave, I'm going to assume you're a Midwest guy. You're a Michigan fan. My thing is that to me, Nebraska is not the Midwest. Maryland is not the Midwest. Um, if I would have made the decision to add teams, I would have added Kansas, Kansas State, Iowa, teams in that nectar. I guess Nebraska counts, but when they went east, it just didn't really make much sense to me. Castellano, what is going on here? What is going on? It's like it reset or something, but all right. But when they added Rutgers and all that, it just sending a message real quick for everybody. Uh, what was the flag for? That's kind of where I'm at. Here we go. But that's kind of where I'm at. I don't get the conference bickering. Funny, after I left the Midwest, everyone thinks they are in the Midwest. Everyone from Ohio to Oklahoma say they're. To me, the Midwest is Western. It starts at Western Pennsylvania, in my opinion. Western Pennsylvania, all the way to, I would say, Kansas City is the Midwest. Oklahoma, Texas is like that Southwest. And then the South is Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, um, Florida. That is the South. South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. That is the South to me. Once you get past like St. Louis, like Colorado, Nebraska, Wyoming, Montana, that's like the West. But third down coming up here for Florida State. Yeah, but it's just different. That's just my opinion. It's just different. Um, Alabama calls timeout. Third and 11. What's also Dave? You can always email us. The email is in the link in the bio. Right. Yeah. The Big Ten was always funny because the Big Ten had 11 teams before the uh, conference championship and all that fun stuff. But I just think when they added Maryland and Rutgers, it just didn't make any sense because Penn State, for whatever they want to say, is East. Um, Penn State's still Western PA to a certain extent, in my opinion. But right, Oregon on the board. We got a TV timeout in Alabama, or not in Alabama, in Tallahassee. Indiana kicking a field goal. Penn State's up 10-0 on Nevada. A lot of navy and blue in that game. That is no joke. But yeah, appreciate everybody watching on the YouTube machine and on the Twitter machine. If you come on over from Twitter, Twitter, formerly known now as X, or X, formerly known as Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and hit that like and subscribe button. That helps us big time. Did you see the miss? What miss are you talking about, Dave? Or are you talking about the movie The Mist? Jeff Brom and somebody call 911. Louisville is killing Eastern Kentucky. I don't know how else to put that, but they are killing them. So there is that. Just checking all the stuff going on. Checking out the multi-view action because I don't know about you, but I kind of want to get Louisville. They're up 42-0. Indiana jumped up right across the bar and bounced it. Oh no, they missed the field goal? Indiana missed the field goal. That is tough sledding, I would have to say. I need to bump up this light a bit. Get that bumped up. Oh yeah, I forgot. Gus Malzahn is the OC at Florida State now. Forgot about that one. He leaves UCF to go to Florida State. Castellanos goes deep. Got a man. That is interesting. That is very interesting. DB got beat. It's a good throw by Castellanos. And he's in the end zone. He is in the end zone. We got a potential. It's gonna start being meltdown alert for on the Alabama side of things here soon. Oh boy, we got ourselves a barn burner. Also, I think it is just absolute blasphemy that we have the Big Ten on CBS as well. It's just not the same. Although with the game being the way it was, we didn't get a lot of Chief Osceola and Renegade time either. I'm not sure I'm going back if Bama loses this game. Dave, do you live in Alabama by chance? What do we got for tonight? I guess if it's that line. Um, all right, the Doak. Florida State set to kick off. Oh, you live in Washington State? Jeez, man. Are you closer to what is it? The University of Washington or Washington State? Or are you pretty much in the middle of nowhere? So there is that. But had to get that bet in. We'll see. Penn State's up 10-0. Georgia 14-0. They got the ball. They're driving. Alabama back at it, hitting the backfield, stopped. I live in the middle of the state. You take a left at nowhere to get here. I got you. Yeah, I'm sure that's a good piece of real estate out there. Because back in the day, I used to watch that show Axemen a ton, and I thought that whole like Oregon Washington area was real interesting. Ty Simpson dialing it up, bang. But yeah, it's always good to have people that you never know. The one cool thing about YouTube is that you never really know who is where the people are from that are gonna check out your show and watch your show and all that fun stuff. But yeah, we've made it to clear across the country. I live outside in basically the desert. I figured there'd be a ton of trees where you're at, Dave. But we got the Florida State. I mean, Alabama's been moving the ball on the ground. I can't believe how well they've came out and ran the ball, to be honest. I think that's very interesting. Yeah, they got to do the whole showing of Ryan Williams. Yeah, I get it. Penn State's about to score again. Ty Simpson moving pocket wide open. Man. Does Malzahn and Florida State have another quick score in them? Oregon blocked punt. They're up 14-0. Um, I would say Andrew the Goat that I think that the first drive, I think that eventually they'll settle in. They should. That's on the coast, the mountains between me and the coast. I got you, Dave. Andrew the Goat says Alabama's defense is going to be really bad this year. I don't know. I don't think you can judge them off of one drive. I think you got to keep it. I think that's where you got to keep it. I think that when it comes down to it, Alabama's defense is, with the whole personnel change, because everybody forgets they lost almost 40 guys. Alabama's defense needs to get yelled at. They can't be doing that every game. Well, I think that the sample size that we've seen so far is not very big. That's what I'll leave it at that. I don't think the sample size is very big, so I think everybody just relax a little bit and let them settle in. It's the first drive of pretty much real action outside of hitting each other that they've had since camp opened. That's what, 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks of camp. So I think they've been preparing for it. I think Kane Womack's a good defensive coordinator, so they are lighting Feinbaum up right now, but they're lighting Feinbaum up. But I'm also gonna really throw it out there on a couple other accords that they can clown Feinbaum all they want, but I don't think Julian Sand looked like a world beater either. Did anybody walk away from the Ohio State game saying, Julian Sand, the next coming? No, I didn't, but I'm sure I'll get hell about that. But I mean, we're going to talk about it during the week, but I'm just saying I don't think that what Ohio State put out there and what they did was even remotely a ton, like a whole bunch better than what Arch played. I mean, Arch threw a pick and they lost, but did anybody come away from the Ohio State Texas game saying that Julian Sand's going to be in New York? I don't think so, because when you go back and look at I get it, numbers aren't the be all end all, but let's just, dive into that box score real quick while Alabama's at commercial. I mean, 13 of 20 for 126 yards, and you guys want to get on Feinbaum's ass? Come on. They pretty much had an identical game. Not very good. I'll probably catch some heat for that, but whatever. I mean, if you are literally going away from the Texas game and thinking that is this, it's just whatever. I mean, I get it. James Yoder just shot across the bow. James Yoder says Jeremiah Smith has played in 17 games as a college football player. He's had over 100 yards 3 times. After all the drops today, do we need to start having a conversation? Alabama, what was that? Ty Simpson? Looked like he threw it over his head. Billy Fessler tweets, W check, hashtag go Bucks. Penalty on Alabama. Just scrolling through the Twitter machine here real quick. But yeah, if you're finding us for the first time, via Twitter, hit that like and subscribe button. Just looking at it. Ooh. Antonio Brown's Twitter considers being some of the most entertaining stuff. Ty Simpson gets sacked on 3rd and 13. Yikes. I think we're going to come to a realization that a lot of the teams that were potentially talked about as playoff teams, some are going to look good, some are going to look bad. I don't think Ty really had anywhere to go with the ball there. I think everybody was pretty much covered. DeBoer is kicking a 53-yard field goal. The kick is up, and it is short. That's not good. He was short. The Florida State people are losing their mind right now. They are losing their mind. Alabama's offense looks bad. So what should they do, Andrew the GOAT? Should they just shut it down and not do it anymore? Like, I think out of two drives, I'm just not there yet. I am not there yet. What are we doing? What is this? I mean, we got to see what they look like on this drive. Alabama needs Nick. They look terrible. Well, on the Saban front, I will say that they have an offensive lineman in for an extra. What are we doing? Oof. But what I'll say is that Alabama lost when Saban retired. They lost 30 or 40. I think it was either 39 or 40 kids to the transfer portal, and they were scholarship guys. So I think that at a certain extent, you got to have Alabama's defense looks soft too. This is not good. Well, I'm just not there yet on it. Boston College is killing Fordham. For anybody who cares. Oh, you want to start Russell at Alabama, a true freshman? I don't know if you watched the Ohio State Texas games, or the Texas Ohio State game, but that's what a first year starter looks like. Castellanos taken off again. The big X factor in this game is going to be how effective does Castellanos run. That is the big X factor in my opinion on this game, because if they can pin him in the pocket and make him try to pick him apart, I think that their chances go up significantly. But my thing is I don't know how much Alabama's secondary is really soft too. Okay. I guess that's where we're at. Ooh, Nevada showing some signs of life. Castellanos. I don't know. I think Norvell and Gus Malzahn are going to try to turn this into a rock fight, to be honest. I think that's their best bet. Alabama meltdown alert. Got to see this. We are cooked. DeBoer is soft as Charmin. 8-4. Here we come. This is comical. Yeah. Oh, reverse. Ooh, that's not good. There goes Florida State. There goes that man. Florida State on the board. Touchdown. Uh. You had to think Gus was setting you up for something with all that motion in the backfield. The Doke is rocking right now. Just down block, bang. And boom, hits the crease, missed tackle. That is not ideal. So Florida State on top of Alabama right now. Not good. Not good. Not a way to start that out. Uh-oh. The dog is going bananas. There's somebody at the front door. That is where we're at. What happened to Alabama's defense? Yeah, I get it. It's didn't look good. Not on that drive. I don't know. I think this is going to have to be a second half adjustment game. Oh, man. Looking rough. But it's still early yet. Kirby and the Dogs are up 21-0. They pick up a punt. That guy has ran like 50 some odd yards to gain like 7. So there's that. Nevada throwing at the end zone here against number 2, soon to be. Well, Penn State will stay at 2. Ohio State will be number 1 on Monday. I guarantee you that. I know Nick is not happy with the way Alabama looks. Ugh. That is something to be desired, I would say, but we're going to get there eventually. Commercial break is not typically the best because out of the 6 games, 3 of them are at commercial. They're coming after that kid at Nevada. Looks like they're going to have to settle for a field goal. Indiana's trying to get it going. So there's that. Just waiting here. All right, we're back in action. Um, just looking at it from a bird's eye, I think that so I'm curious, is this the year that number one is going to go down consistently for like 3 or 4 weeks in a row? That's what I'm curious about. So that's it. Showing the Florida State mishaps over the last year, where Norvell fired the entire pretty much offensive staff. Florida State, it was a tough year for them last year. That whole 2-10 moniker. Oh, Ty Simpson running. That's not good execution. Drop on the play. Bad ball on top of it. Threw it at the dirt. A myriad of things going on. Castellanos and Florida State they're pumped right now. Well, I can definitely say I hope not. It's not like this every game. I think the Castellanos' legs is the big X factor in this. What do we got here? Also, Jam Miller being out does not help your starting running back. Ooh, that's rough. Alabama does not look like a scary team right now. They look like a mid-football team. Well, they just going 3-and-out does not help whatsoever. So there's that. He got hit on the initial throw. So Isaiah Horton on the bike, not a good sign. Jonathan Barrett. Yeah, they are pumped in Tallahassee. I would say that if they go down and score here, if Florida State goes down here and scores, it might be curtains on the Ty Simpson experience. He might get one more drive and then I don't know. Might think about it. Indiana scores. Florida State looks like a very, very much improved team than last year. But Penn State, they're threatening. They're back in the red zone. I could see where this could be a big undertaking. Do you really roll the true freshman out there? Florida State's defense looks better than Alabama's defense. At the moment, yes. I think it was last year Alabama needed to settle in. All their issues, they had issues on defense and offense, but I think that, the constructing of the roster is kind of been the big issue, to be honest, because of all the guys they left. Like, probably, arguably, the number one player in the country, Caleb Downs, leaves and goes to Ohio State. I think when he gets picked in the top 5, that'll be a interesting endeavor. Because I had people last year wanting to argue in the preseason if he was as good as Will Johnson. So Will Johnson slides to the second round, and that's that. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Commercial break. If you're watching out there on X, come on over to YouTube. We got quite a few people in the chat. Hit that like and subscribe button. Help us grow this thing. That is it's better than money. I guess here we go. Alabama's only going to win 4 games. Yikes. You think it's that grim? I don't know if it's that grim yet. I think that the defense just needs to settle in, and that's where they're going to get to. That's where they got to get to. But yes, a lot of the issues are it's the first game of the year. That's the big one. And then also tonight, if you're enjoying this stream, my boy Richie's going to be joining for the LSU Clemson game. And then I've got it set up for the late night game. I don't know what the engagement and the folks are going to be on that. I think I'm going to set a number. If we can stay at that, I think we'll do it. Ty Simpson is done for time, new quarterback. Oh, man. Tough crowd in here tonight. But here's the thing. What happens if Russell isn't any better than Ty Simpson? That's the thing you got to ask yourself. What if he's not any better? So there is that. 2nd and 10 coming up for Florida State. I guess the first half is almost over. The Alabama game it is rolling along. But I think it's, they got to get that guy on the ground. Penn State's almost at halftime. Indiana's in the third quarter. Just right up the middle. Missed tackles. Looking sloppy for the Tide here early. Maybe they can get this corrected. Alabama subbing. Ooh. There's that. Andrew says, I don't know if Alabama can beat Georgia this year in football the way the team looks. It is tough sledding. I think that on defense they're doing a lot of subbing. So I think they're doing the whole matching personnel thing, and it is what it is. You got to match personnel so you're not outgunned, but Castellanos takes off again. I really think they're going to have to dedicate a spy to him. But I think if Alabama loses this game, they got major problems. the ooh, another first down. 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left at Florida State. Alabama's already gave up 100 yards rushing in the first half. So they've already given up 100 yards on the ground. That's really what it is. I think they were prepared for them to try to sling it all over the yard. Castellanos takes off again, gets popped big time. Third down. Really, the Bama defense needs to get off the field here and regroup, to be honest. Castellanos is 7 for 7 for 81 yards and 51 yards rushing. I was kind of thinking, I don't know how they were not prepared for this guy to run all over the place. They calling that a catch? Nope, incomplete. 4th and 4. Is Norvell going to go for it here? I don't. Castellanos is running off the field. I think they're going to kick a field goal here. Yep, they're lining up for a 45-yard field goal attempt. See if Alabama can bow up and maybe block a field goal. Flag on the play. This is interesting. Florida State takes a timeout. Why would Norvell, unless he's going to run he might run the offense back on the field and go for it. With the way they've been running the ball, I wouldn't be shocked. Would not be shocked if he runs the offense back on the field to go for it. I mean, realistically, if you're Norvell, Castellanos, keeper, why not? As they roll the Adidas commercial with the guy, Jeremiah Smith, with the drops today. That's kind of what it's been. At some point, Jeffrey Wright is going to join the program, I do believe. He's got some things he's got to take care of, but I think we pretty sure might have him for the second half. I know he's got some dad duties to take care of. I'm just looking at it, trying to see if we have the Alabama crash out. Not so much yet, but only from 20 minutes ago they had the meltdown alert. But it sounds like Andrew the Goat in the chat is a little bit on the meltdown alert. Penn State returns a kickoff. They're up 20-3 on Nevada. No team in college football should be scared of Alabama's defense right now. Yeah, and Andrew is letting them know. The Tennessee folks are elated right now. Although Arch did call his performance not good enough. 45-yard field goal. It's good. Florida State up 17-7 on Alabama. 3 minutes left. Kalen DeBoer, as Alabama's coach, needs to do better. This is embarrassing. That's Andrew's words, not mine. I will show it. Not looking good so far. Castellanos has their number. It's that misdirection in the backfield. Not looking good. Not looking good at all. Hey, Eastern Kentucky scored. Penn State's about to hit the break. Awaiting the kickoff is what we're doing. I won't be surprised if Stephen A. Smith talks about the Alabama team pretty much embarrassing them on TV tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to shake out. Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer. Got to see what it's going to be looking like. See what they look like on this series. But I know this much. Florida State is elated. Their fans are absolutely ready. Although I will say the run game for Alabama, they can get that run game going. I think it'll help. I think it'll help open up the passing game big time. Florida State has came out and been super chippy. Galen DeBoer better figure it out. Well, I think the Alabama team after halftime they should look a little bit different. So he brings him out to bring him back in. There you go, Ryan Williams. Drew Aller, touchdown at Penn State. It's going to put Penn State up 27-3. Simpson back, 1st and 10. Oh, he just falls down. I would say at halftime, Alabama needs to change their spikes because there's a lot of guys that need to put longer ones in. There's a lot of guys slipping and sliding all over the place. Ooh. Who is that? Decorian Moore for Oregon? Yeah, that kid's dynamic. So the 2 minute timeout. Alabama needs to get Rip a new one in the locker room. I hope Nick yells at them, this team, the way they get back when they get back to Alabama. Well, he pretty sure he still has an office there, so mm. All right, we're out for delivery. Thank God it's showing up here today. Here's the latest batch of crashing out. This DeBoer thing won't last long like this. Leave DeBoer in Florida. Fire Womack at halftime. Leave his ass at junior pro scheme in Tallahassee. Nick ain't their coach. I watch these shitty teams to see how my team is going to steal. Oh, Dave's here just off the top rope. Haven't seen him for a bit, but just off the top rope. Almost to halftime. We're going to take a break at half. I'll put the graphic up at halftime and everybody can go grab a snack. Oregon up 31-0. Indiana is the effort from Alabama's defense here may be enough to get Nick Saban out of retirement. I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. I'm hoping my boom arm gets here at some point. For the mic, it would just be nice to have the mic right here. And here comes the rain. Because maybe at some point I'll be able to get the mic here to where I can actually lean back. The rain is coming down in oodles and noodles in Tallahassee. Wet ball alert. First down, Alabama. Penn State's at halftime. Yes, it is raining a lot. I'm kind of wondering, the elite Alabama defense days are over. I have to see what the game plan is here going forward on the throw game. Ty Simpson to run it. Yeah, don't like that call. Do not like that one. Yep, yeah, it is going to be a rough time for DeBoer going forward. Is it raining at Georgia too? Check on and see what Iowa State is doing. Iowa State's up 27-7 on South Dakota. They are in full force. Punt is off. Oh, and they let it go. Did they let it go in the end zone? Oh, it's a touchback. Ugh. It's pretty much like everything that has gone wrong today. It's been a perfect storm, and now the rain starts. That is not a fun time. Castellanos again. Oh, didn't know that had happened. Northwestern denied Tulane's request to wear white unis for Hurricane Katrina. Summerall's response: when you disrespect the city of New Orleans, you're going to run into it. I'm not going to be a jerk, but don't disrespect the city of New Orleans. Good on you, John Summerall. They are on the posting the pure domination by Ohio State. Castellanos 3rd and 2. What's it going to be? 3rd and 2. That handoff. $36 seconds left. Florida State is at the 33-yard line, their own 33. They got one timeout. Need a big play. I wouldn't be surprised if they take a shot here. Nope, handoff. Out of bounds, 30 seconds left. It is raining harder than a cow pissing on a flat stone in Tallahassee. So I'm sure there's going to be more of a crash out when it comes to the Alabama side of things. Oh, bad snap. Running back picks it up. Um, third down. Clock still ticking. I would say that might be all she wrote for the half. Yep. They're jumping up and down, getting them wild out there in Tallahassee. But the first half is over of the marquee game for the stream. I'm going to throw the graphic up, and I will check you guys after the break. All right, we are back. Second half getting underway. The Alabama is trailing. Not looking good. Not looking good for the Tide. 7-yard run there by Florida State. Looks like the rain has subsided. And that's another Florida State first down. Here they go. That is something. Got to do something. Just retweeting the stream here. See what we can get cracking. Eastern Kentucky looking fairly decent, but although they're down 48-7, but that's what it is. Appreciate everybody in the stream right now. Thanks for hanging out over the halftime break. If you could do me a big favor, hit the like and subscribe button. That helps us a ton here. Really helps grow the channel. What do we got? What do we got? Castellanos scrambling out of bounds. Believe Jeffrey Wright is going to be joining us soon. That is what we got going. Appreciate everybody who is jumping in after the second half. Appreciate it. Believe we're going to have Jeffrey Wright joining us here soon. False start, Florida State. Yikes. Alabama down 10 as we get this going. So it's going to be 3rd and 13 coming up for Castellanos and the Noles. Screen. Nah, I don't see how that's not a hold, but all right. Needless to say, 4th down coming up for Florida State. I'm going to assume they're going to run the punt team on the field. All right. If you can hear me, Jeffrey, give me a thumbs up before I can add you. All right. What's up, Jeffrey?
Alabama not stopping inside zone in the quarterback run, man.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the Tide. Not.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain degree, I thought they started the game quite nicely. It was a great drive, but it's funny, we had a guest host on Jeff's show yesterday, and he's an Alabama alum, and almost everything that he had PTSD about has so far happened during this game. He's like, it's Malzahn, it's a mobile quarterback, and it's things that have given me nightmares as an Alabama fan. And truthfully, that's kind of been this game in a nutshell.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. And then, I mean, going forward with Alabama, it's been rough because the offense has just looked stagnant but I think that's been everybody. I mean, Ohio State, Texas, neither one of them quarterbacks look great. It's just a very, very off-putting day to say for offense outside of Tennessee.
Yeah, I think the key difference though is like when you think about, okay, who did Ohio State play? Who did Texas play? To me, the key difference is when you're playing these elite defensive lines. I think the thing that's going to keep being a theme for college football right now is offensive line play is going to be a problem. And as these better and elite teams are going to be spending so much money. I mean, you saw the Pete Nako's tweet about the amount of NIL money spent at positions, and you can see like the elite teams are all spending their money. I mean, the SEC is spending more money on the defensive line than at quarterback. So when you have that, it becomes really hard for these offensive lines. And let's be real, offensive lines are being put together on the fly. I mean, what did he just say? Tess just said, there's 178 starts for Florida State's offensive line, but none of them have been together.
Right.
So, and you're factoring that in. Usually offensive line takes time, takes continuity, takes gelling. And, we're not seeing that. But like you said, with Tennessee, it's like, okay, well, Tennessee's taking on Syracuse. And it's kind of the other thing I thought about last night with Auburn. Yes, Auburn looked impressive, but how many teams is Auburn going to be able to line up and essentially run the football 60 times against in the SEC and win? Like, I just don't think that's going to be realistic.
Right. And I also don't think as a long term, I mean, it is Hugh Freeze, but I don't think as a long term running Jackson Arnold 10 to 15 plus times a game in the SEC is sustainable if you want him to make it through the whole season.
I will say I think my instinct is I agree with you, but unlike compare him with Jackson Dart from last year, Dart's looking for contact and whatnot. The thing that I liked about Arnold last night was like he wasn't afraid to slide. And he actually looked like he might have played baseball and knew how to pop up slide. So this is a big drive here for Alabama, though.
Oh, yeah, especially after the rain.
I don't like this.
Ooh, that's not good.
But, it's interesting. I'm watching Georgia, and it's clear to me that they're going to run Gunnar Stockton a lot because they're even running him a lot against Marshall. And, maybe that's to combat having probably inconsistent offensive line play. Hey, if we run the quarterback more, teams have to be a little bit more disciplined. They can't send as much pressure, but it is clearly, to me, offensive line play is going to be an issue for a lot of the good teams around the country.
Yeah, and the quote unquote transfer portal era has been it's been a nightmare, I think, for most teams. I mean, that's a pretty good completion there, but I just feel like it's not sustainable in the college football era, the era that we're in with everybody. You need to have somebody on the bench that can come in and be competent and play. And I think Alabama is going to be the first big victim of this.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this era, dealing in absolutes is the biggest mistake that you can make because, originally when Kiffin kind of became portal king, everyone's like, you can't do it that way. You can't do it that way. Well, he clearly elevated Ole Miss from kind of like a mid-card tier to the upper mid-card by doing it that way. Now, can you still do it? I don't know. Like, to me, it's like Texas Tech's going to be a great experiment of, I think now it seems like more teams have done a better job of keeping the players that they actually want to keep. And so I don't think the portal has as much top-end talent as it once had, but, there's still guys moving in and out. So I really don't know the right way to do it. My thing with Alabama is I don't know how many Tide fans want to hear it, but Nick Saban told it to him. If this truly just becomes an arms race, Alabama doesn't have enough rich people.
Right. I totally agree with you on that because the teams that are going to separate are going to be teams in major metropolitan areas that have big.
Well, I mean, look at the last two national champions. It's Ohio State and Michigan, who have massive fan bases. They have, many billionaires. Like, it's just, I don't think it's coincidence.
No. I think also Ohio State's biggest booster is Les Wexner. So
all-time great guy.
Yeah. Well, he may or may not be on a list that doesn't exist, but
I think it's pretty confirmed he's on it.
Oh yeah, but
I think there's evidence that he was there.
Yeah, the Ohio State brass, that is just unfortunate right there. They are.
I feel like, haven't they done it the respectable way? They keep taking the money, but they have they don't let his name stay on as much.
Yeah. They kind of do. They kind of do that whole thing. It's wink, wink. We're just gonna look over here and nobody say anything. I guess outside of Alabama, I guess I'll get your thoughts on the big one tonight. Clemson, Brian Kelly squaring off against Dabo. What are you thinking on that? Me personally, to jump in, I jumped on the LSU plus 4.5 because I'm not quite there yet with Clemson offensively.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to see it like you do. I don't understand the Clemson love affair right now. Like, if the whole thing was, well, they could be a playoff team, well, sure. But last year, I don't know. There's this revisionist aspect of last year where somehow, I guess, by somewhat losing close to Texas in the playoff game, that all of a sudden, they were good. They played 6 teams with winning records last year. They won 2 of those games. It was SMU and it was Pitt, and they won the games by a combined 7 points. I don't understand this idea, but I think the other lesson that we're kind of seeing is going back to what I was saying about Alabama. If this is just an arms race about who has the most money, I think it could be an SEC-wide problem where, other than Texas and A&M, who's never figured out how to have money equal success at the rate that other teams have, I think the SEC's in this weird transition period where, for me, for so long, it was like whoever the best SEC team was, I was fine riding with them being the best team in college football. I don't think that's the case, but now you're in this weird realm where everyone in the conference is insane and everyone spends at an absurd rate. So your 13th team in the league can beat probably your 4th or 5th team. Like, if you look at last year, what we saw, if you put Mississippi State aside, every team at the bottom of the standings beat someone at the top of the standings and kind of ruined their year.
Right. You had, I wouldn't say, well, Florida was like mid-tier, ruined Ole Miss this season.
Well, Kentucky ruined. Kentucky really, Ole Miss could have sustained the Florida loss. They could not, when Kentucky goes 1-7 in the SEC and their one win is at Ole Miss, hey buddy, that's gonna hurt you. You can't overcome that. But Vanderbilt beats Alabama, Oklahoma beats Alabama, Arkansas beats Tennessee. If you started looking at the bottom of if you looked at the bottom of the SEC, almost every single team had a significant win over a team that was in the top of the standings and was a playoff contender.
Well, the only one that I'll give you a little pushback on is Arkansas is just such a roller coaster of a program for the last, 10 years.
Because I'm just saying literally the bottom of the standings from last year.
Yeah.
But if you looked at the Big Ten, until Michigan beat Ohio State the last game of the year, of the regular season, no one in the top 4 of the Big Ten had lost to anyone other than the other top 4 teams.
Right.
And to me, like, that's the difference in the two leagues is that while I think probably the top of the SEC has probably been pushed down in terms of the entire relative field of college football, it's probably been lowered, but everyone else is just insanely spending. And because of that, like, the bottom of your league's still pretty good.
And here's another thing that I think goes untalked about. Like, take Luke Altmaier, for example. If he would have stayed at Ole Miss, would he be the starter this year?
No. I think Luke was – I don't want to say Luke was processed, but Luke wanted to play, and Lane said, you're not going to play. Like, Luke was part of the battle with Jackson Dart originally, and Lane kind of did the dance where it's like I think Jackson started the first game, and then Luke started the second game, and then it was kind of Jackson's team. But, you know, Luke's a smart kid. He knew he wasn't going to beat out Jackson. Jackson has more – there's a reason why Jackson went in the first round. Like,
right.
You know, so would he be the starter now? No, because they've got kind of the googly eyes for Austin Simmons.
I guess I'll lead into another question. Was Jackson Arnold the problem at Oklahoma?
In my mind, no, but I think there's a lot that goes into it. Clearly, at the time that they benched him, there was, whether you want to call it locker room issues, attitude issues, there was clearly problems between the offensive line and Jackson. Now, is that Jackson's fault? Is that the offensive line's fault? No. Then you wound up with a situation where you have a coach that's starting to feel heat for the first time, and lo and behold, we've got a program icon's son that's playing quarterback, and he's kind of running around having success. And then you think like, oh, I'm going to make this emotional move. When in reality, the kid wasn't very good. They luck out, and they were on the field when Auburn beat themselves last year, which was a delight to watch. But, you know, that wasn't necessarily, you know, that wasn't Michael's doing, Hawkins' doing. So he kind of gets wrapped up into that. And then it became apparent that Hawkins isn't, I guess the Texas game happens, and then everyone realizes like, okay, it actually might have been South Carolina. I think he officially gets benched. It's like he was god awful against South Carolina, and then I think they brought Arnold back. But I mean, then you look at Arnold towards the end of the year when he started coming back. You know, there's the stories of he's developing chemistry with a former walk-on fifth string receiver because when they were running scout team together. So it's like, well, who's he throwing to? Who's not? Like, I think like most things in life, there's probably a lot of blame to go around. I also think I beg your pardon, I think Oklahoma thinks that they're going to significantly upgrade with Mateer. I'm not as confident that that's true.
Well, the Mateer thing, I think the jury's out on that. I think you got to see it in full form. But when it comes to the Jackson Arnold stuff, I don't think that Oklahoma was bought in 100%. And then when it started going bad, because I remember the South Carolina game, I went outside to go wrap a brisket, came back inside, and it's like 21-0. I'm like, what happened? And
yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it took that long.
Yeah. So I think the South Carolina thing was a little bit of like a microcosm opposed to the overall picture. And I just feel like by him sliding and going to Auburn, it'll probably right some wrongs. But on Venable's end of it, he desperately needs the Mateer thing to go without hiccup.
I could not agree more because he's, of everyone else that's quote unquote facing pressure this year as a head coach, to my knowledge, he's the only one that the man that hired him is retiring.
Right.
So, that always starts your clock. I mean, I think the other thing to probably remember is Oklahoma was also clearly going through internal turmoil and staff problems. I mean, they fire the offensive coordinator, an alum halfway through. It seemed to me that there were certain people that were Jackson Arnold guys, and there were certain people that weren't. And when you start getting into the kind of the Game of Thrones, hey, we're not winning and heads are going to start rolling. And, then everybody starts pointing fingers. No one ever really says hand up one way or the other. It's always somebody else's fault. So when you start getting into that world, it complicates things. I've watched enough Mountain West football to know that John Mateer is a lot of fun, but this is a very different league.
Oh, 100%. I think the talent gap is going to be somewhere in between. Do I think he's going to come light the SEC on fire? No. But do I think he could be middle of the road?
Sure.
Could Oklahoma go 8-4, 9-3? But is that enough?
I mean, given their schedule, I guess the right answer with most things in college football is, okay, well, tell me which ones are the wins and which ones are the losses. Because if you beat the right opponent, if he beats Texas, and if he goes into Tuscaloosa and beats Alabama, obviously if you get those games, well, it buys you some goodwill. But I know Oklahoma is very fearful of, in this, we just joined the SEC. They are very fearful of falling behind.
Well, I mean, I think Oklahoma should be okay as far as the arms race. I think they'll be able to figure that out. But I mean, just a knee-jerk reaction after just today, I feel like the Alabama game for Oklahoma is winnable and the Texas game is winnable because, I mean, I get it. Arch didn't look great in Alabama doesn't look great right now. So do they figure it out? Hopefully.
Yeah,
maybe.
I guess to a certain degree. I think what's obvious to me is I don't know if there's a team that's going to really lift and separate from anyone else. Because I'm watching Georgia, and again, it's Marshall, and these are also massive week one overreactions.
Right.
I just don't see a team that's a monster. I think I see teams that clearly are better than others. And the other thing about this Alabama game is, weirdly, to be down 24-7, I don't think they've been that bad. I think some things have kind of gone against them. Their first drive was very impressive. Second drive, it was pretty good. And then they have a couple of personal mistakes. And then you wind up kicking a long field goal. And everybody's thinking, hey, this guy's got a monster leg. And he winds up 10 yards short. That was bizarre to me. It's why did they even kick that? That wasn't even close to getting there. And then, you allow the big chunk play to Castellanos down the sideline. And then I think when they kind of settled in defensively and they get the ball back right before the half, they got a chance to go and make it a one-score game. And here comes the rain. It just starts pouring down. Nobody could have moved the football in those conditions. But, that's part of why why you're down 17. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I also don't really believe in Venables. Venables has always, to me, given me defensive coordinator, not head coach vibes.
I would agree to that. I just think Oklahoma was in such a transition from when Lincoln Riley left to hiring Venables to joining a new league Texas hires
to
Sark.
actually having to get defensive players on the roster.
Yes, because it was all offensive laden. I mean, if you go back and look, I mean, revisionist history will be able to tell you that Oklahoma didn't recruit defense under Lincoln Riley. It's not there. It never
No,
was.
it reminded me of at the end of when Freeze signed a big class in like 2016.
Oh, because
And
Matt Luke was hosed in 18 and 19.
yeah, and he signed a big recruiting class, and I just remember Sexton, his agent, said, "Where are the defensive players?" Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, Hugh, that was Hugh's thing at the end was, you know, he'd go and buy him another 4-star receiver because those were cheap at the time. And, then he'd blame the defensive coordinator when they couldn't stop anybody. I mean, to me, one of the testaments to why I think Lane Kiffin, this version, has been more successful than the previous version is now that he is a head coach, he is actually giving his defensive coordinator power, and he's giving him scholarships and money.
yeah. I think a two-part fold on why it's been so successful with Lane at Ole Miss opposed to what was going on with Freeze. I mean, obviously the elephant in the room, but
Well, yeah, when you're more worried about which Asian massage parlor you're going to be attending than, and not redacting the numbers from your university issued cell phone. Yeah, you're a little distracted, I suppose.
I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I mean,
the best part about it is his SID was like came in with the because he could have redacted the numbers that end up getting him caught, and he was convinced that they'd make him look good because he thought it was a tight end in Tampa that he was trying to recruit.
That is, just looking back on history, that's always fun. But I think the Freeze era would have came to an end in 17 or 18.
Yeah, I think actually the thing that has helped, Hugh will never acknowledge this because he's an insane narcissist. The best thing that happened to him was actually getting fired in 2016 because that team was quitting on him. And like, this is the thing about Hugh, if you've ever known him historically, when it ends in chaos, turmoil, and it just falls apart and it's a disaster. Had he had to coach that team the next year and came back, Matt actually did a pretty good job with that team to get them to 6-6. Had he coached that team was going to go like 2-10, 3-8. And I think it would have destroyed his career. Like, part of what is able to like allow some SEC fans to be like, Hugh's still out there. We can get Hugh, is the fact that he didn't have to actually pay for the sins of his program that Matt Luke did.
Right. And I think that, Matt Luke falls on the sword and, you fast forward, Hugh goes to Liberty, gets it going, and he lands the Auburn job. My hot take is if it doesn't go well this year at Auburn, I know your former boss said that it would be Drinkowitz, but I think they go after Summerall if I'm Auburn.
I'll say this, you're not alone in that thinking. I don't know. I mean, to me, this is the thing that I'm very curious about is, if you're going to, how are you going to spend your money? Because we are in an age where if you spend the money on the coaches, like, especially if you're buying out another coach, and I get it, Hugh's buyout is actually the easiest of all the buyouts, but because his is, I think you can basically double the amount of time left on his contract, and you can pay him in a monthly installment. So, like, that's how desperate he was to get back in the SEC. Was he basically took like one of the cheapest deals you could have. So, but I mean, if you're gonna have to, someone's gonna take the check. But like, if you're Summerall, how patient do you want to be? I think you have to sit there and ask. Auburn seems to talk a big game about the NIL space, but are they backing it up? I will say with the roster I saw last night, I'm a little more open to the idea of maybe they've gotten it together. But I've got real questions about in this era, how good of a job is that? Not from the perspective of, well, you can't win there, you can't get paid there, but can you win to the level that the fan base expects? That's, to me, a real question.
I will say somebody that lives north of the Mason-Dixon line, the Auburn fan expectation, because they shoved Malzahn out, and that is what it is. They made the decision to get rid of Gus. And looking back on it, was it the right decision? I guess probably. But
I think the thing with Gus is the problem with Gus is they really decided they were done with Gus in 2018. But 2018 is the year. So for Auburn years, or no, I'm sorry. They decided they were done with him in 2017. They were done with him in 2017, but then he goes on. They lose to Clemson early, and they look kind of offensively inept. But then remember, they go on the run, and they beat Bama and Georgia in back-to-back weeks. And then they end up losing the SEC championship game. But like that season gets him the extension, and it's just like they were really done then, but because he beat Alabama and Georgia in back-to-back weeks, it was like, well, I guess we're going to do this longer.
Well, in the Plains is, I'm not going to say it's a that they should win, but just because they've been good in the past doesn't mean they're going to win going forward. But I also think if you're trying to fill that position at Auburn, if I'm John Summerall, because I think the Brian Kelly tenure is on borrowed time.
I guess we'll see tonight. I mean, maybe the answer is the team that we're going to be looking for is everybody that's been in Baton Rouge saying that they think that this is one of those types of teams. Maybe they're going to be right.
I don't know. I'm not there because you probably don't know this, but I live in Fort Wayne, which is a stone's throw from South Bend.
Sure.
And I have 4-8 Brian Kelly vibes.
I don't think they're going to be that bad. I think it would have a lot would have to go wrong for them to bottom out like that. I mean, to me, like the only way that comes into play is if Nussmeier gets hurt, because I don't love Nussmeier like apparently most everybody else apparently does, but he's still. There are not that many quarterbacks in this country that are more talented than he is.
Right. And I don't think it's going to be whether it's a scheme thing. I want to see what Nussmeier looks like live against Clemson, because I think there's going to be offensive line issues. And I do
agree with you on that, because they're another team that had to put it all together
on the fly.
Portal, yeah.
And Clemson has the
very good defensive front.
Yes, and I think that if Nussmeier's out there running for his life, and he had the quote-unquote knee injury or tendonitis or whatever they want to call it. I mean, last year Curtis Rourke tore his ACL and played, 7 games for Indiana. So for all we know, who knows what's going on?
I guess the one thing I would say, the only difference I would maybe make there, because it's not a bad point, but Rourke's game didn't include escapability. I mean, Rourke had even at Ohio, like his brother ran around a little bit, but even at Ohio, of course, he tore his knee there too. He was a statue there too. You know what I mean? Like his game was less predicated on it, but I mean, I think that is what is. I think why this could wind up being an awesome year of college football is, have you seen anybody that you're like, man, the whole thing goes through them? Because my thing with Ohio State today was, as impressive as they were, that didn't look like a juggernaut to me. I think that they're way better on defense than they are on offense.
Oh yeah, because there's
that defense might be that. I guess I should say this. That defense might be elite. Like
that the defense at Ohio State is elite, and I also think Texas has a really good defense. But
they were putting a lot worse spots today than Ohio State was.
I also am going to go out on a limb. When I was watching the game, I wasn't watching it as close because at the end there, probably midway through the third quarter, I had like 250 people join the stream and my chat was going bananas. But what I'll say is after the second half, Ryan Day was looking at the play sheet a lot. He was looking at something that was folded. So I'll be interested to see, because in the first half it didn't look great.
No, he looked like he was just on the sideline with his like hands on his hips.
And he didn't have to do that last year with Chip Kelly. And we've already tried this whole Brian Hartline offensive coordinator thing. And the big thing with me when it comes to Ohio State, I have some pretty decent ties there, some pretty good sources. I'm not so sure that he didn't take over play calling in the second half, and that's not good. That's not good for Ohio State's future.
No, but I while I'm with you, I would be more concerned. Like, I'm not the world's biggest Ryan Day fan, but Ryan Day is a more proven offensive coordinator. Like, he's had success being an offensive coordinator, and it's worked. So I'm kind of fine with that. I would have thought the bigger issue today, like, I would have been more concerned if Patricia looked like a guy, because, you occasionally see this where the pro defensive coordinator comes down to college and the scheme's either too complicated or they're used to pros, being able to do things that college kids can't do.
Right.
The fact that their defense, I thought, executed at such a high level today, because to me, it was more than just, I want to be clear. I thought Arch was bad on top of that. Like, I thought on throws of 10 yards or fewer, Arch never set his feet. Like, he was just off target. I think I could count. I feel like there was 3 throws today where I was like, that was a good throw. And other than that, it was really bad. So, like, I want to be clear. Like, it's a lot easier to play defense when the offense is incompetent. But what they were doing that actually made it pretty difficult on Texas was they were running a lot of the NFL concepts where you basically – you're in zone coverage, but you're switching like you do with man coverage, and you're passing off everybody, and that's why nobody was open. Like, what I mean? Like how many times in fairness to Arch, how many times did you go, that guy was wide open? Like, weirdly, I thought his worst throw of the day was actually the first throw of the day, because they ran like the little naked shotgun bootleg, and he had the guy wide open by like 15 yards. And it like one hopped him, maybe even 2 hopped him. It was short by 5 yards. That was really about the only time I was like, man, that guy was open.
Yeah. And then, although I think he came back and had some pretty decent throws, but I'm also to the point to where I think he just needs more reps. And same thing with Julian Sayin. And like,
I was pretty impressed with Sayin. I thought, even though Sayin's numbers weren't, like, my thing is, like, at half, neither kid had, like, particularly impressive numbers, but one was, like, Arch's numbers made it look better than it was. Sayin's numbers made it look worse than it was.
Right.
Because, like, Sayin he threw a good ball. He threw a good ball on one of the 4th downs that got dropped. He had a 3rd down early in the game that got dropped. Now, it all kind of comes back, because I actually thought one of his worst throws was the touchdown throw. Like, it was way late. It was behind. It hung up. But, like, it kind of, it evens out. He had some good throws that guys didn't make plays on. And then, but I also think, like, the other thing that kind of stood out is, like, Texas doesn't have a Jeremiah Smith.
No. And that was something also, I thought it was, Simpson sacked again. This is not going well. This is not.
The funny thing is, they're kind of getting the stops to get back in it, but this is where DeBoer is going to have this issue. It's like, hey, man, if you are brought in to be the offensive guy and you're the offensive guru, and really, if you think about the losses last year, other than I don't know if you can necessarily put the Vanderbilt loss on the offense. They had chances to make plays, but like in the end, you gave up 40. So I'm putting that 40. I'm putting that one on the defense.
Well, my thing with the Vanderbilt loss is like, I mean, with you gamble and you watch games and you can bet on a team that instantly they cannot stop them on offense and they are not going to overcome whatever this deficit is. And it's just like I hate to say it, but it's like a wave. It's just a major tidal wave. And I feel like right now, looking at this Alabama game, whatever they do on offense, it doesn't matter because Florida State is going to crush them. And that's what it's looking like.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's kind of my thing. Like right now, it's like they have gotten a couple of stops, but they can't do anything with it. They stall out. They stall out the last drive on 4th down. They've got it here. It's 3rd and 17. And, where DeBoer's going to really face a lot of pressure is the Oklahoma game. His offense looked like crap. The Tennessee game, the offense wasn't very good. And, like, this is going to be yet again, if this goes the way that it's looking in the next 17 minutes, the offenses looked like crap.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, there was a guy in the stream that's like, earlier he was like, do we give Simpson the hook? And
so I don't think he's been that bad. But I mean, like, my thing is bringing in a freshman.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, so you want to put the freshman in? I'm like, well, what if he's worse?
Like, Simpson hasn't really made a bad play yet.
No, I don't think so. I think that a couple of times the offensive line has broke down. I think that they've dropped balls inopportune, weather related, whether anybody wants to take that or not.
This could be a big break. This could be a big break. This is if you are going to do this, you have to score here.
Yes. You are breathing life back into the season at this point.
Which is hilarious. We're the 3rd quarter of week 1. This is what's amazing about football is literally like you just put football in front of us and everything is just emotional and we just overreact immediately.
Oh, like that message board geniuses that I send you from time to time that just have the greatest screenshots ever.
Oh, yeah. No, nothing but excellent takes.
But the Alabama fan is going to, like, if I had the capability, which I will soon, to do like a live call-in show after this game, if the score stayed the same, I would be up until like 5 a.m. taking calls about why it is the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, that is, like, it is kind of how, like, part of the – all right, he's going up top. Okay. God, Ryan Williams is so good. Like,
man.
God, he's so good.
He was at Talladega.
He's so good. Like,
I mean,
literally, it's like him and Jeremiah. I would just, if I'm a DB, I just interfere every time and just hope like maybe they won't call it sometimes.
Oh, the Ohio State fans on the timeline on Twitter were crashing out big time about Jeremiah getting held and grabbed and all that stuff, and I'm just like, come on, folks.
I mean, do they think that they weren't grabbing on the other end? I mean, Jeremiah, there was one of the 3rd down throws that I thought Jeremiah got held. They turned him and they didn't call it. But I also think that one of the PI calls that Jeremiah got in the first half, I actually thought was pretty weak. Like,
yeah.
And Jeremiah gets off with push-offs. Like,
exactly. He does it a lot but that's,
but I also think he's an awesome football player.
Oh yeah. The big thing is that the Ohio State brain is very interesting, to say the least.
Well, I mean, literally, this week is all you need to know.
Oh yeah, because they're the thing with them is that since day one at all, he's the be all end all until the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And let him lose that one.
No, I mean, listen, they were kicking the tires after they lost to Michigan. They were kicking the tires, and now I think it's fair to say this: they were kicking the tires, and I think they were still going to reach the conclusion of he's coming back. But it was the classic after he lost that game. He needed to win that Tennessee game.
No,
I think that was helpful.
Him blowing out Tennessee in the run they went on, I mean, they were the best team in college football.
Can you explain to me this? Why, like 3rd and 7, okay, fine, whatever. Why has everything just been a deep throw?
I don't get that.
I guess they tried to sneak in a run on one of them, but I mean, that's the other problem. I feel like on so much of today's offense, it's like everything's like a predetermined, glorified RPO that man.
Well, I think you have too many analytics guys that say if you throw it,
the most efficient play in football is a vertical pass.
Yes, I think you have too much of that, and you're a little bit ahead of me, and I don't care. But like my thing is,
oh God, he should have just run it.
Oh no! What are you? This is not be. And the problem is that some of the people that work at the MPW Digital Network are not going to be thrilled with this answer, but I feel like that at a certain extent, the offense. I mean, they brought in Ryan Grubb, and I was told the offense was not going to change. Well, it looks worse than it did last year.
Can somebody tell me why Ty didn't just run it?
It's one of the things that I was thinking about.
I will say this though, from a formation, from a concept, the offense doesn't look any different to me. I think the difference is who's calling for the snap.
Yeah.
And I think, but like in terms of how this does all look the same to me. Like, back when DeBoer was even at Indiana.
To me, it seems like that Alabama on offense is super tight, like major league tight, to an extent to where they're so afraid to make a mistake, you can just feel it through the screen. I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like they seem like they're super tight. The defense is deciding to bow up now, but I just feel like on offense they look super tight.
I will say what I thought the fatal flaw last year of Alabama was Milroe was kind of home run or bust, and he just would always hold on, waiting to hit the home run. And it feels like tonight's kind of the same thing, where it's like it feels like they're playing into Florida State. Florida State knows that they're going to try to get back in the game like all at once, and it seems to me like their best. Like if you look at what was their best drive of the game, it was the first drive where the score's 0-0, and they're just running. They were taking what they were just like
running the offense,
just driving the football down. And now it's just like they're trying to force everything, and you got a big third down here, and like that's the thing is, as bad as it's been, they're still not like dead here.
No, I don't think Alabama's dead. It's just I feel like that something is like a miss. Like they didn't get like Cheetos or something in the lunch bag this morning.
I feel like the biggest problem I feel like in the DeBoer era is I don't think they've built an identity on offense. I don't think they quite know what they are. It's like at times, like, are they the RPO team? Are they the quarterback run, deep shot team? Like today, it's like, if I tried to say, like, what do you think their identity was on offense? Do you have an answer?
No, it's like they came out, ran it a whole bunch, and then after they scored that touchdown, they started running it, got stuffed a couple times, and it's like they've been like 15 to 20-yard deep intermittent throws, like trying to layer the ball when it's like a torrential downpour, and then we come out and try to run it again, and then we're just gonna on 3rd and 7 throw a 25-yard out route. Like I don't.
Yeah, they'll never see this coming.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. The first drive was. All right, let's see. I think it was 16 plays. Let me double check. Drives. All right, so 16 plays for 75 yards. Now let's go to plays. All right. Run. 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 Incomplete. Run. Complete. So there were three. It was 13 runs.
So they
Let's see how many runs they have the rest of the game. So they had 13 runs on the first drive. They have 13 runs the rest of the game.
That's kind of where I'm at on it, and it's bizarre. The whole Alabama offense for me as a whole has been bizarre. I also think it was what bought him a ton of time was the win against Georgia. That win against Georgia went a long way. I think they didn't overlook the Oklahoma complete debacle, but I think they kind of just said, "Hey, Jalen, that's like your issue, not ours."
Yeah, I think the other thing that kind of helped him is I think a lot of fans, I think, were just kind of frustrated with Milroe,
right?
And at the end, it's like, I don't know. I always feel like Milroe's the worst type of quarterback to have because he's so specially gifted that, like, if you're at practice and you're watching him, you're like, well, we got to make sure this guy has the football. Like he can do things that no one else can do. But at the same time, it's like you watch him throughout the course of a game, and I just feel like he bats about 500 on making the right decision.
That, and also another thing on the Alabama trek is Alabama's probably starting quarterback is playing at Ohio State that everybody's overlooking as well.
No, that's fair.
Ooh, that's rough on Castellanos.
This is kind of my whole deal. It's like, there's a real question of should they just kick? Like, here's where he's going to start to get in trouble. I know all the analytics say he should have gone for it. But if he kicks 2 field goals, it's 24-16. They're finally getting stops. Florida State's really stalling out, and they would be getting the ball back down a score.
Here's my thing. Out of all the myriad of podcasts that I listen to, the majority of the coaches that I hear speak, their common thread is that have been fired, that were currently coaching, that for the most part, they say never pass up points. So if he kicks,
it's this weird thing to me where it's like we've swung so far into and I think part of the whole analytics thing is coaches like to have something to blame on. It's like, what do you want me to do? The book said go for it. Like, I went for it. And I think there's they like having that crutch. But I do think we've reached this point where it's like, we've swung so far in this direction of never taking points. It's like, it
depends.
like make all your jokes about Belichick you want, but it's like, man, if the day and age that he's at the peak of the New England Patriots, if kicking field goals really wasn't worth it, he wouldn't have carried one on his roster.
Right. That's like my thing. When for me, it's all like a gut feeling.
You know what I literally honestly, like, you know what I think would be the perfect way to make the decision? What does the other side want me to do?
Right.
Like when I think about it, it's like, like if Alabama's sitting there going and I send the field goal out and they're giving like a fist pump, then you probably should have gone for it.
Oh, my thing is that from some of the contacts that I know is that whenever it came to fourth downs, Urban Meyer, he's a choir boy. He would say, "You mean to tell me our offensive line cannot get 1 yard? We can't get a yard?" And that's literally what it was. But
yeah, and to me, there's a key difference also. Like, all right, 4th and 1, that's a different conversation. Like, I do to a certain degree, it's like you can't get a yard. Now, there's also times that I've seen offenses that can't get a yard, and here they trot out. I also am much more inclined to go for it when it's inside the goal to go, because then, all right, they're likely not going to be very aggressive coming out. If I don't get it, they're going to be just trying to get it out of the shadow of the own end zone. They're going to be pretty conservative. There's a decent chance I get the ball back in good field position. But I think the other thing that gets left out of it, and this is where I disagree with a lot of nerds. There is a momentum killer of we didn't get anything out of a drive.
Right. 100%. And also my thing is that today, Fran Brown, I really like what he's doing at Syracuse, but dude, why would you go for 2? Just kick the extra point.
So I was annoyed with Fran because I laid the points with Tennessee. And his teams just don't quit. I think that was a tacit admission that we're not going to win this game, but I'm trying to like get these guys to believe. Like, I think there's still kind of a psychological mind element with your own team. Like, hey man, like we're going for like, we're going to play, because like they play fast, they don't give up, they don't quit. And like, if you look at the story of their season last year, like that was kind of what they were. I mean, they fell behind 21-0 to Miami. Like, like they are the team that didn't quit and whatnot. So like, I think he's trying to like build that into their DNA. I think if they were like really, really good, I think he would have seen some different decisions. I think he kind of knew
they might.
It might go a certain way.
We might suck.
Yeah.
But I was on Syracuse to cover the number. I got it at 13.5. I'm not trying to make this all about gambling, but I'm just saying let's kick the field goal because you have a major letdown after you don't get the 2.
What was I watching? Longo or somebody last night was going to go for 2. Then they get a delay a game and they still went for 2. It's like, man, what are the odds of you getting 8? Like, 8 yards is not worth 1 point. Like, I'm so like, kick the freaking extra point. Like,
it's you're out kicking your coverage there. It just like it baffles me to a certain extent. This is a good one. You'll like this, Jeffrey. Message board geniuses put Steve Sarkisian equals Mark Richt and Mac Brown. I don't know about that, but
I thought their game plan was weird today. I couldn't figure out. I think they were, and maybe rightfully so, they were very scared of Downs, and they clearly did not want to throw at him. And he's a great player. I'm not saying that that's wrong. But it felt like it felt like in the second half, they were just like, all right, we're just going to run what we run. Like, they started going more like counter, more misdirection stuff, and they started to move the ball better. But I don't know. I mean, I think this will be interesting to watch. If whatever system we have is going to still be, it's all about the roster. It's all about the roster. Like, I think like for a while, like it used to be like the coaches could kind of do this myth of like my scheme, my everything is like worth wins.
Right.
I don't know. Like I found myself as they were talking about Ryan Day today. I was like, I bet there's 35 coaches in the country, if not more, that could do that job.
The big thing with Ohio State is that you could do pretty much what he does if you don't have to call offense or defense. I don't see how it would be that hard. I mean, Urban Meyer did it for 6 years. He didn't call offense or defense, and that's like on the telecast they would say the vaunted Urban Meyer offense. It's like, what are you talking about? Urban didn't call offense. The last time he called offense was at Utah, and I know that for a fact.
Dude, I don't think he called offense at Utah. Dan did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dan probably did it. So
I don't even think at Notre Dame. Like, I don't even think as an assistant. I think he was like a receivers and recruiting game coordinator. I don't think he's ever going to play.
Yeah, he didn't. He maybe called offense at Bowling Green, but I doubt it. But he was never a coordinator. They gave him the Bowling Green job. He was never a coordinator. I know that. So
okay, this play is going to work, but there's the play that like speed option into the short side and then the RPO with the throw into the short side. I just hate it. It's like you're just giving them defense. Like you're giving them an extra defender.
Yeah, also am I the only guy in the world that I may be a stick in the mud, but am I the only guy in the world that when you're losing you shouldn't celebrate?
I just kind of write it off as like, hey man, like that's the world we live in. Like, you know,
am I getting old?
My problem is like I've just never like what is the whole praying mantis thing? I know it comes back to Mechie in Auburn, but like what was the origin of it? I've never thought it's a good celebration. Like that's kind of my other thing is like I kind of judge it less on the scoreboard and I judge it more on like, was that good? I've never thought that's a good celebration.
Well, the only thing that when they do like the praying mantis like crane thing, I think Karate Kid.
I thought, isn't there like there's some Auburn tie? Isn't it like?
Yeah,
I think Mechie or somebody did it mocking them, and it caught on. But it's like I don't think that one's good. And then I think the smell your fingers thing's disgusting. Like I hate it. I think it's a dumb celebration. I've never liked it. I think it's dumb.
The smell your fingers thing, not good. The shooting the dice, not good. It looks like you're simulating emotion.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It looks like a jerk off. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, ironically, you know, I work in Memphis. Like, you know, the John Morant finger guns are still sometimes a good old classic. Like,
I forgot about that.
Finger guns are great, and then he started doing the Call of Duty, the grenade. Like that one has actually been pretty good. Like it's all based on whether or not I think it's good. I just think the praying mantis thing's dumb. We got a ball game. All right, dude, yeah. I got to run. So, but at least we got a great game, and I could desperately use the Tide winning this game outright.
I hear you. Appreciate you, Jeffrey. Thanks for joining.
All right, man.
All right, catch you later.
Be good.
Yep. All right, that is Jeffrey Wright. He joined. Appreciate him. He's down there in Memphis, 92.9 FM. He is there Monday through Friday. He does a couple other shows, but appreciate Jeffrey Wright doing that little detour with us there. Appreciate it. that is always welcome. So there is that. 80 people in here. I guess I haven't, since we were doing the whole Jeffrey Wright thing, but 80 of you in here. Appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe button. Help us grow the channel. That helps a ton for our growth in going forward. That helps us. But I am going to run away real quick and I will be back. All right, we're back. Couple of chats that I had missed. Hopefully Dave is still here. This looks like when Clemson yeah, okay, whatever, dude. Yeah, Dave's here's got some of that going on. At this point, just sending Jeffrey a thank you. 1724. Does Alabama have enough? All right, got that figured out. But yeah, we got 80 people in here. Hit that like and subscribe button. Help us grow this thing. We're going to be doing the Clemson game tonight to figure out who the real Death Valley is, I guess. But yeah, Jeffrey Wright, can't thank him enough. Absolutely unbelievable. Just doing that whole thing. Also, going to try to get a guest for the late night. That is what I'm working on. And we have so Florida State up at it. Just shooting a couple of messages here. God damn it. Just working on that, but yep, just working on guests later in the evening. So Florida State trudging ahead, going for it on fourth down. That's where we're at. But yes, we are going to have that going on tonight. Clemson, LSU. Um, it's much appreciated if you hit the like and subscribe. That helps me a ton. Ooh, that's a rough graphic. Um, just trying to get everything caught back up. So I'm looking at it, but yeah, the like and subscribe helps us a ton. The Purple Cats, Florida is starting soon. Got to keep an eyeball on that. Arkansas is absolutely killing Alabama A&M. But yeah, here soon we are going to get it rolling. Third down coming up. Trying to get the Octo box and all that stuff ready to go. Going to keep it the same. We should have some time in between streams. Really appreciate everybody jumping in and hanging out. It's been kind of a unbelievable stream, to be honest. Some of the biggest numbers we've had tonight. Appreciate everybody. I was down this year in Alabama at Talladega. Got the shirt to prove that I was there. Just one of those things. Alabama's defense needs to bow up, to be honest. So here we go. Oh, man, this is a tough spot for Alabama fans. I'm going to go out on a limb and say his shoe broke. I don't know what they're talking about. TV timeout. TV timeout has been the death of the live streams today. Just saying. But yeah, totally appreciate. Why would they fire him? He's my favorite coach they've had in 20 years. 20 years? Dave, really? John Cooper wasn't your favorite? Well, I guess now that you think about it, revisionist history, 20 years. So there is that. So yeah, Alabama needs a stop big time. Pretty much Georgia is killing Marshall. Coastal Virginia on the screen. It is 11-46 in the Penn State game. They are going at Feinbaum on social media big time. Not shocked. Here's a fun stat on the Ohio State stuff. Ryan Day has beat uh, 7 out of the last 7 games he's played. He has beaten top 10 ranked opponents. They're showing Dabo 180 career wins, most in ACC history. That is what it is. So Thomas Castellanos has the chance to ice the game. Well, not really ice it, but I think if it's a 2-score game, it's donezo on the Alabama side of things. I don't know what you guys think, but it's going to be a tough road to hoe. Oh, I gotta. It's Big Ten. Ole Miss is kicking off soon. Yep, I can shut TV3 down after this, but yeah, pretty good crowd tonight. Just doing it. Checking everything out. Looking at everything. It's been a interesting time here. If Castellanos, if they get a touchdown here, it's done. It's done like dinner, I think. That's a touchdown. They just ran through their ass like shit through a tin horn. Yep. That's it. That's all she wrote, folks. I think that's all she wrote. I think it's done. I may be the most pessimistic guy ever, but it's done. It is I guess they're going to review it, but that's what it is. That's shit through a tin horn. Hate to say it, but It is just rough. I don't know how else to put it. The run fits aren't there. Malzahn did it. Gus Malzahn has conquered the Tide. They are gonna. I don't know if they're gonna let this guy on the tarmac. It is a tough go of things. I will say that. Yep. 7 penalties for 65 yards. Yeah, it's number 8, Alabama is probably going to fall. They're probably falling here tonight. We're going to see what LSU can muster up tonight, but not been the greatest day on the SEC side of things. Kick out of the end zone. There ain't nothing to. I mean, realistically, if you look at this objectively, I wouldn't say it's not unfathomable or unfathomable that this had happened, but is it one of those deals that it's got to the point to where they're really considering the alternative here? I mean, you had to think losing 40 scholarship guys from a year ago. It's one of those things. It's one of those things that you wouldn't necessarily think that it would have been, the drop off would have been this bad. That place is rocking right now. There is nothing going right, and Alabama looks like shit on offense. Go for it and get the first down at least, and go down there and have some pride and score a touchdown. Mm-mm-mm. What do we have? False start. That's what it is. False start. Fourth and 6. Hey, completion. So that's where we are now. It's going to be a very, very interesting ride home. Simpson running for his life. Got to see what other games are on. Check the multi-box. See what else we have rolling for this evening. Oh, that's targeting Ryan Williams is hurt. Not a good sign there. What do they play on? Holding his head, not good. It's under further review. Just, I don't know. I don't know if contact could have been avoided there. What do you think, Alabama fans? Alabama is on the fire everybody. Who are we thinking? Message board's genius is how to wreck a Ferrari in 2 seasons, Kalen DeBoer. We're about to lose the season opener to Florida State. Go ahead and chalk this season. DeBoer is not the answer. They did not call targeting. So, what's the down and distance? Third and 10. That is where we are at. Simpson running around, hucks it, chuck it, football. What's DeBoer going to do? What is he going to do? I mean, you got to go for it. 5:55 left. Simpson running around, and I think he's short. Gonna make it dramatic and measure it. Oh, I think that was a bad spot. That's a first down. That's a real bad spot. I think that might be a first down. It's short. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. That's where we're at on the Florida State side of things. That is tough sledding in these parts in Alabama. I think he's short. I mean, he's short. That's all there is to it. Came up short. Under review. Well, looking at it the way that it's going, Florida State has got to get one first down, and that's that. No personal fouls, but .214 rush yards is what the Tide has gave up today. Should have done the Lee Corso parlay. Ohio State, Florida State. Yeah, it's over. Mm. Is that looking at some other stuff? Mm. Alabama gonna fall, number 8 team in the country. A lot of sad pandas in that realm. Mm. Texas A&M and UTSA are about to tee it up. So they're about to put foot to 4-panel 8 laces. He didn't get it. Mm. Ooh, 4th and 1. He's going to go for it, Norvell. Going to go for it. Toss pitch. He got it. He got it. So the 2-minute timeout happens. Arkansas is up 52-7 on Alabama A&M. Ooh, what do we have? What's about to kick off? Gonna have to wait a bit before we can move the multi-box. This Alabama team is so bad they're not good. Alabama football team is absolutely trash. Said by Andrew the Goat. Andrew the Goat says if Alabama has a bad season and fires their coach, yeah, it's not. This performance was unsatisfactory. to be honest. It's the QB, truthfully. I got to see what this avatar is. Oh, South Carolina fan. Kirk Cousins Jr. Well, yeah. If you're new to the channel, they are getting after Feinbaum on social media. But if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Help us grow this thing. We're going to be streaming Clemson LSU coming up. See how that works out. I think that going forward, Alabama has a lot to work on. So there's that. Doing the whole eating W's. Two minutes left. Alabama has no timeouts. So here we go. I guess I'll pump it up at the end of the stream. We are going live in 20 some odd minutes. My boy Richie's going to be joining. We have the Clemson and LSU coming up. Trying to figure out a guest for the late night window. Gonna have to see if there's any post-game extracurriculars. Oh, here comes the Florida State fans. That's all she wrote, folks. Florida State, they are on the field. So there's that. They're interviewing Mike Norvell, being victorious. They're trying to keep the people away from them, and that's that. That's all she wrote. The fat lady has sung, and it's over. So Alabama falls to Florida State. See you back here in a few. We are we're going to be doing the LSU Clemson game, so hopefully everybody decides to circle back. We're going to be doing that in about 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll see everybody then. Hit the like and subscribe button. Hopefully everybody has a good night. We will see you then.